नेपाल सरकारले खास गरी समुदायमा आधारित वन व्यवस्थापन प्रणाली अवलम्बन गरे पश्चात
After Nepal adopted a community-based forest management system, we initiated a participatory approach that included local communities, indigenous peoples, Dalits, and women in forest governance. This approach generated a tremendous amount of social capital. To put it simply, we now have around 73,000 women leaders who have emerged from this movement. Similarly, Dalit leadership has come forward, and in the Tarai region, we've seen leadership among Madasi and Muslim communities as well. So, alongside developing individual leadership capacity, we have built collective social capital, with more than 22,000 community forest user groups actively functioning across the country, and in total over 30,000 community-based forest management groups managing our natural resources. Second, as this social capital was mobilized, our forest area increased from 29% to about 46% of the country's land area, a fact we can state with pride. This reflects the creation of natural capital, which is now being sustainably managed and mobilized for broader economic development. Third, in terms of sustainable use of natural resources, poor and marginalized communities, including Dalits and disadvantaged groups, have been able to improve their livelihoods, channeling forest-based income into health, education, and infrastructure. Studies show that community forests collectively perform functions comparable to 22 different ministries of the government of Nepal. So, if we look at it comprehensively, our achievements lie in three dimensions. 1. Enhancing community benefits and livelihoods. 2. Building social capital. And 3. Strengthening natural capital and environmental governance. In recent years, we've also linked climate change mitigation and carbon emission reduction efforts with indigenous rights and customary forest practices. Indigenous and local knowledge is now integrated into national forest and carbon strategies. Nepal has launched several carbon-related projects, with the government now operating at a scale that connects local action with global goals, a major milestone in itself. We are currently implementing 2 emission reduction programs. The first is with the World Bank's Forest Carbon Partnership Facility, FCPF, under which we've completed the first MRV, monitoring, reporting, and verification cycle, and submitted the results. The second is under the LEAF Coalition, which operates as a large umbrella program. The UN REDD program is providing technical support for LEAF. We've achieved several key milestones. 1. New National REDD Plus Strategy 2025 to 2034, finalized and approved by the government of Nepal. 2. Trees Registration Document, TRD, submitted to the Secretariat as required. 3. Summary of Information on Safeguards, submitted to the UNFCCC. 4. Benefit Sharing Plan, BSP, drafted for the LEAF Coalition jurisdictions, Bagmati, Gandaki, and Lumbini provinces, and now under provincial and local level consultations. 5. Free, prior, and informed consent, fully implemented as required under Nepal's forest regulations for carbon emission reduction projects. We're also conducting district-level interventions and capacity-building programs under UN REDD's technical support. These efforts are helping prepare the next MRV cycle and the tree monitoring report. Our goal is to finalize the Emission Reduction Purchase Agreement, RPE, with the LEAF Coalition, so that new carbon projects can move forward. UN REDD's assistance has also strengthened multi-stakeholder capacity, especially among indigenous peoples, women, and marginalized community groups. The REDD Implementation Center and the Forest Research and Training Center, FRTC, have developed substantial technical capacity to carry out MRV and prepare monitoring reports independently. This is a major institutional achievement for Nepal. Under the FCPF, our first MRV verified a reduction of 1.88 million tons of CO2 emissions out of 2.3 million tons reported, for which Nepal will receive $9.4 million US.
सरकारले प्राप्त गर्दैछ त्यस्तै लिफको
Under the LEAF coalition, our proposal targets 4 million tons of carbon emission reductions. Based on this, Nepal expects to receive around 40 million US dollars. The government has also decided that Nepal will enter the jurisdictional REDD Plus mechanism nationwide, expanding to Koshi, Madhes, Karnali, and Sudar Pashchim provinces starting this fiscal year.
सुरुवात गर्दैछौँ
Altogether, our carbon finance potential is around 100 million US dollars in the near term.
योजनामा चाहिँ सञ्चालन गर्ने नै गरी हामी त्यो ध्येयका साथ अगाडि बढेका छौँ र हामीले
We're now planning to establish a carbon management center within the REDD Implementation Center to institutionalize carbon market operations.
सबभन्दा ठुलो चुनौती
The biggest challenges include, firstly, capacity development, strengthening the skills of local level institutions such as community forest user groups, collaborative forests, leasehold forests, and division forest offices. Second, forest fires. Increasing incidents due to climate change have become a major threat. Third, coordination. Effective coordination is essential between the Ministry, REDD Implementation Center, and rights-based organizations such as Indigenous Federation, FICO Fund, Dalit, and women's networks. The capacity among these stakeholders needs continuous strengthening. Fourth, sustainable forest management, SFM. We must make SFM more inclusive, practical, and results-oriented to sustain the REDD Plus program. Fifth, benefit sharing mechanisms, ensuring that carbon benefits reach forest-dependent and poor communities at the grassroots remains a critical and complex challenge.
चुनौतीपूर्ण रहेको ठान्दछु
According to government policy, 20% of carbon revenues will go to the national treasury and 80% will go to implementing entities, that is, division forest offices, community forest user groups, and indigenous and local communities. The law guarantees that at least 80% of the benefit must reach the managers and communities. The REDD Implementation Center is committed to enforcing this, ensuring that less than 20% remains at the central level.
त्यो हाम्रो कानुनी बाध्यता हामी गर्छौँ पनि हामीसँग चाहिँ खास गरी यो कार्बन उत्सर्जन न्यूनीकरणबाट प्राप्त
The Forest Development Fund will be the main financial mechanism for managing carbon revenues. The fund is led by the Ministry of Forests and Environment, with representation from communities and indigenous peoples through its Program Selection and Implementation Committee. The Department of Forests and Soil Conservation hosts the Fund Secretariat, while the REDD Implementation Center provides technical guidance, capacity building, and oversight. At the operational level, REDD focal points and REDD desks have been established at provincial and local levels, and REDD cells at district levels, ensuring representation from community forests, collaborative forests, and indigenous groups. Together, these structures oversee fund flow, monitoring, and implementation of social and environmental safeguards.
नीतिगत सुधारको सन्दर्भमा नेपाल
Yes, Nepal has already drafted a carbon trading regulation, developed in coordination with the Ministries of Finance and Law.
लाँदैछौँ
The regulation aligns with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, 6.2, 6.4, and 6.8, and aims to be private sector friendly, enabling participation from business and industry in carbon trading.
हामी बनाएका छौँ
It covers carbon credits from forestry, energy, waste management, industrial processes, and transport sectors. The REDD Implementation Center is also developing a national carbon registry system to track transactions transparently. At present, no major legal barriers remain for carbon trade. The regulatory framework is fully consistent with the Paris Agreement.
हुन्छ भन्ने अवस्था देखिएको छैन हामीले अहिले चाहिँ हाम्रो खास गरी
Nepal has already signed a carbon framework agreement with Sweden, and more recently an agreement with the Korean government through the Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI. We have also signed a letter of intent, LOI, with the LEAF Coalition, and we're preparing the Emission Reduction Purchase Agreement, ERPA. Although several new deals are in discussion, finalization is pending. Nonetheless, our ongoing partnerships with Sweden and South Korea are progressing well, and these bilateral arrangements are part of a continuous government-led process.
यी विषयहरू यदि हामीले 2035
Based on our assessments, if we scale up to a national level, whole country REDD Plus program, Nepal has the potential to reduce at least 100 million tons of CO2 emissions from the forestry sector alone by 2035. That figure represents our long-term capacity for verified emission reductions under a fully implemented jurisdictional REDD+ mechanism.
रिडक्सन गर्ने क्षमता हामीले राख्छ भन्ने हाम्रो आकलन छ